Right here. How are we there, guys? And welcome to another episode of the Smashing Crossbar Podcast. I'm your host, Josh. No one else here other than the special guest tonight. It's been a couple of weeks. Had a couple of weeks off due to shifts and rosters and everything else. But at the same time, I've managed to get down to a couple of sessions of Jets training just to see how they're travelling and everything else. And guys, I can honestly tell you, it's looking good. The boys are keen. The boys are fit. And, I think the biggest one, as I've touched on many a podcast, accountability is a massive thing, and you can definitely see that at training, whether it be a stuff up and stuff like that. So, no better person to have on to talk about that, obviously, than the head coach of the Newcastle Jets. Rob, welcome, mate.
Thanks for having me, Josh.
No, mate, thank you for jumping on. It's been a crazy couple of months for a Jets fan, and obviously yourself. Probably not expecting to be here 3 to 4 months ago. What's it been like?
It's I was on holidays in Vietnam. I was actually about to do an interview for a foreign role, so I was doing a little bit of prep while I was on holidays.
Yep.
This came up, and so I actually interviewed on holidays. It went for quite a while, and then I just had a gut feeling. Always knew deep down this might be a place I could potentially go to, and when I did, it felt really, really right. I was doing a bit of work, researching, looking at the team, going right through it. If I was to come in, what would I do differently? How could I maximise what's there? What would I try and change? What are the strengths of the club, the team? What do they have? So when I arrived back in Sydney, 3-day turnaround, and I packed my bags and left. So
very good, very good. Everyone's flooding into the chat. Welcome everyone who is jumping in. A couple of quick ones before I get underway officially. Big shout out to Gabriel Marr, optometrist at Jesmond, for all your eye care needs. Be sure to go down and see those guys down there at Jesmond. Mention Crossbar Capers and they'll look after you with a hefty discount. Cafe Cafe, top of town, for all your breakfast, cafe, coffees. Best coffee in Newcastle. Rob, if you haven't been there, mate, get down there. They do a banging brekkie, and I know a lot of the Jets players and stuff like that in the past have got down there and so forth. So, yeah, pretty much in the mall, top of town. Big shout out to those guys for jumping on board this year as a sponsor as well. First things first, guys. I'll try and get through as many questions as I can. Try and leave the absolute ridiculous questions to a minimum. We're not going to really touch on the ownership sort of things and stuff like that tonight because, let's be honest, Rob's not worrying about the ownership. He's worrying about the players and getting the best out of them. So let's leave them to behind. But as I said, mate, I've got plenty of questions in here. We'll try and rattle off a few, as many as we can in the next 45 minutes thereabouts, because we don't want to hold you up. But I think the big one, that's the most common question I got is, can we expect any more signings? I think that's the first one we'll start with, mate.
Yeah, there's a couple. I'm currently chatting to a foreign player at the moment, so it went well. I actually spoke tonight to that player, so it was a good conversation. I missed out on one, so I looked at another one. I have a couple more lined up if this doesn't work, but had a really good conversation. I liked what I was hearing from the player. Then there's definitely probably another player to come in, so at least 2 signings. There's a chance it could be 2 foreigners. It might be also a local and a foreigner, budget permitting. But the main one, the main foreigner I'm looking at, definitely he's a must. So that player has to bring leadership and that type of experience to a young team. So that's what I'm mainly looking at. There's 2 types of foreigners I look at. One who's brings professionalism in leadership, and that's more back half. Someone who can lead the team and guide the team, because we've got some young players. And then if I was able to get one in the front half, then that would be one who would excite the fans, entertain the fans, bring that little bit of excitement. So at the moment, budget permit, where this is going to really what determines that. But at the moment we have a really young team, and I think the back half is more important at the moment. So I'm focused on that, and again, budget permitting, I hope to have at least 2 signings before we're done. So
Beautiful.
yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think they'll bring a squad we have on researching it. We have a really good age bracket between 20 and probably 28. A majority of the players, that is the best age group to have. And we've got loads of players there with 50, 60 games. So they're at that point in their careers where they're going to either do something really good soon because they've just got that accumulation. So I'm excited by that. That's one of the reasons was where the players sat in ages and what they've already accumulated. So it's looking good in that department.
Very good. A little cheeky one here from Mary. Big question, who does Rob follow in the EPL?
It's a good question. So I actually follow the coaches a lot. I like to watch the coaches, listen to them, how they bring their teams to life. If you look, Guardiola is obviously sits above with what he's doing. But you can't. You have to look at Klopp. You have to look at Zerbi. He's come in and just changed. Obviously now Ange being there, it's going to be really even more exciting to watch. So for me, I've always taken interest in how the coaches manage their teams, how they bring it to life. So that's sort of the part that gets me into watching them play. Just that's the part that really catches me. I remember years ago, Brendan Rodgers had Swansea. Had them playing some of the best football. So you kind of, when guys come in and do something and what they're doing differently, I kind of get a bit hooked on that. So, I've been watching a lot of Man City just on their stuff. Like to watch Liverpool. I've enjoyed watching Brighton and how they brought their players in, what they've done with it. Even you look at it, their recruitment is some of the best value they do in the Premier League, better than anyone else. So kind of get sort of hooked on all that sort of stuff, which is maybe a bit different to just die hard on one team.
There you go. Mary and myself, die-hard Liverpool fans. So we've got Klopp and Rodgers in there. So that's two ex-Liverpool managers. We'll get one current, and one ex-Liverpool managers. So we'll take that. We'll convert him to a red, Mary. We'll keep moving, mate. As I said, these are in no sort of order or anything like that. So if you touch on it through, guys in the chat, just, roll with it. Pre-season games. Obviously, Cup's coming up against Brisbane Roar, which will be very interesting now from what's been happening up there in the last couple of weeks. New CEO and everything else. Former Jet, Casper Tafter, and so forth. But any other pre-season games lined up beyond that?
We on Sunday we travel to Sydney. We're playing Sydney behind closed doors, Sydney FC. Then we'll play Brisbane. Depending on what happens in the Cup, there may be another game in between our next Cup game, or in the between. We're actually going to play Sydney again back up here in home and away leg. So we're going to play a month after on the 6th of September. So that'll be at Maitland as well. So that's a bit of a scoop there. So that's going to take place as well. So we'll maybe fit one game in there due to the long season. I'm just sort of and the fact that we've probably started 3-4 weeks earlier than anyone else. I'm kind of using periods between games to do block work with the players. So 10, 12, 14 days of block work and an in-house game to focus on developing the team and the individuals. So I'm using that time to develop the squad better, just an understanding of what we want. So, and then as we get closer, I'll squeeze some more games. I think we've got a trip to Coffs Harbour. We're trying to line up Brisbane in that game as well. So they're going to meet us halfway. So it'll be a bit of a team building exercise, also for our sponsors as well. We do this every year, I'm being told. So that's a great opportunity to get the players in and maybe just clarify some goal setting and things like that, and play a game. And so that's an opportunity for a game there. And we're also in discussions with a couple of A-League clubs in between some of those there to bring in. So I hope to complete at least 6, 7, 8 games in that period.
Yeah, right. There you go. Very good. We've got another one here. What are Rob's main philosophies as a coach? What drives him? How does he motivate himself and those around him? And how does
for me as a coach, everything the game dictates how my team plays. So we have a playing style. I work to principles. So I get the players to work to those principles. So for instance, if you look, I've coached multiple different formations and that, but my principles have always stayed the same. I have a saying: values off the pitch, principles on the pitch. So my coaching style is strong on being really clear on what we do off the pitch. It helps build culture, and that carries it over to the pitch. So by giving the players clarity on what they're doing on the pitch with roles, responsibilities, expectations, that enables the players to align all their behaviour, which helps with setting them in the right path on how we want to play. So the clarity is big. It means then they know exactly what's expected. So it's easy to correct. It's easy to get players to buy in when it comes to life. So I'm big on that. As I said, when I looked at Newcastle, I took on board the players that were here and how do we get the best out of them. So, last year I've played different formations, but the formation is just a starting point. It's about how I utilise the players, the principles that I like to apply. So that's big. How do I motivate them? Again, I make sure every person's a valued member, whether it's staff or players. So I'm clear on that. I connect with them. I try and empower them to be their best they can be and set them goals in achieving, whether it's a staff or player. And then set about developing and focusing on improving the individual to then bring the team to life. So, it's you got to enjoy what you do. You got to have a purpose, and if you've got purpose and strong beliefs, they become the pillars of what you're doing. And then the foundation should always be underpinned by a development of younger players coming through. Should always be your foundation, and the way you play should sit at the top. Should be the identity of the team. So if we play each week, the fans, I hope in time will almost know what they're going to get.
Yep.
And then it's up to us to make sure we produce that. So they have a clear understanding of what we're trying to achieve. And hopefully that's exciting football. So
yeah, absolutely.
Try and do that.
Yeah, I think it's all the Jets fans really want is just, look, some attractive football and, it's the guys that just want to be there, that's from off the pitch, like the backroom staff and everything else, and coaching staff, obviously down to the players as well. We just want them to be there, and again that's on us as well as fans. We need to get there to games and everything else, support the boys, and get them home, which is something that we have lacked in.
I think if we can prove that, if we show that, so whether it's just how we conduct ourselves off the pitch, that's our identity. So if we can show that we're building an identity, one that they're proud of, I think in time that'll be, and what they want, what the fans want as well. Like there has to be, in the end, we play to entertain. So we're coaching to entertain. I'm not coaching to satisfy myself. I have to coach to, one, we have to entertain, but two, I have to develop people while I'm doing that. If I do that well, they're going to entertain better.
Yep.
So sometimes you have constraints that you got to work to, which we have here, but that's okay. That's why I came here, because I took from a comfortable role to an uncomfortable role, and now I'm going to make it better. So I'll make myself comfortable by setting goals that I want to achieve, by developing people, by creating an identity of the team that people recognise and are proud of. So it's connecting to the environment that we're in and the people of Newcastle, and making sure that they can connect and they feel that connection with the team. So, we have to do it that way if we want to be successful. Otherwise, the fans, they won't come. But if we do show that we're doing that, I think people, win, lose or draw, if they see that, they'll get behind the team.
Exactly.
And eventually, I think you're going to win, because you get buy-in off the pitch with the fans and you earn buy-in on the pitch. It's hard work. And again, it's you can only be done with people that want to be here. So
absolutely,
that's the starting point. Good people who want to be here.
Yeah, I think the massive advantage of that is you bringing in a lot of youth. Having youth here is going to be massive. They want to be here. They want to perform in front of their families and friends and stuff like that. So fingers crossed. We can definitely see that.
It's young. There's a lot of evidence to suggest this can be very successful. I think, we don't want to mention our rivals, but you have to say they did a really good job in turning themselves around. They were 3 years wooden spoons. So it just goes to show that it can be done. And again, but you have to start and you have to stick to it. You have to believe in it. You have to be really clear. You can't be like, the fans have to be able to see it. If they don't see it, they're not going to believe in it. They're not going to come.
Yeah.
So what you're saying you have to actually do. So everything I try to do every day is solve the problems that are faced and keep towards bringing that to life. And if I can, then I have this feeling it's going to work well. But I know that if we do it right, fans will be happy.
Absolutely. Newey Jets football's come in. It was just a quick one. Who has impressed you the most? So what couple of players have you come in the short amount of time you've been here? Who are the ones that have stood out?
From individually, everyone has actually given me something really, really exciting to see. Without naming players and saying he's been unbelievable. Yeah. What I've seen is that I've observed from a lot of players what they're really good at.
Yeah.
So if I look at, say, Lucas, he's done exceptionally well. He's come in. He's just. I think his time away at Wellington, which I observed, has done really well, really him perfectly. If I look at someone like Thomas Aquilina, he's like an ultimate professional. He ticks every box, every day, every second, every minute, every hour. He's always doing everything. He's on it all the time. I look at Hoffy, and I can just see someone that oozes Newcastle. You can just see in his persona, he brings that to life every day he comes in. I see like Callum Timmins, I see this aggressive sharpness that brings something different. I see Brandon with that calmness and leadership. I see Costa with this ability to move without very quietly around the pitch, but very effectively. I see Archie with this enthusiasm and this, he just sees the goals. I see Trent with a smile on his face saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. AP's come in, and when I had conversations with him, and someone said to me, he looks so different. I go, because he has real purpose in what he's doing now. Yeah. He's married, he's this, he's that. He says, this is what I want to do. I've challenged Phil Kenker. I said, Phil, I want you to be a beast. And now I said, you need to be a leader. So he's at the front of everything. So every player has brought something, and I can name every player.
Yeah.
Wilmering's come in, and I'm seeing this guy has got this little fight about him, this angry fight. Yeah. He's got a point to prove.
Yeah. Who's the other one? Is it Taylor? Taylor's the other one.
Clayton Taylor.
Yeah, man, he's
got this
quality.
He's made a huge impression. Yeah. Lockie Bayless has come in, and he's got this determination, and I can see it.
Yeah.
So everyone, I've just really impressed with everyone's best quality, and they're all different. And I'm observing all their best qualities, and I'm taking notes, saying this is what he's good at. This is what. So if they bring their best qualities, and I can improve the other areas, then I'm feeling like we got something. So Mick Weir, he's had a good chat with him. He's just, mate. He's got this presence about him. Yeah. Ryan Scott's come in. All I've heard is unbelievable things about Ryan Scott. Yeah. Everyone says, what a guy. And I can see why. Two great guys. Noah James has been working hard. Mate, all the keepers have. Zach has been working hard. They're all four of them. They're pushing each other. So, Bolo, I've seen Bolo excited. Yeah. He's like, mate, he's...
Top bins.
I can see an excitement in his eyes. So I said to him, mate, you got your program, run your program.
Yeah.
You take that excitement and bring it to life even better. So everyone's brought something to the table that's impressed me. That's what's actually impressed me the most, that everyone's brought something different.
Which is great to see, like the Australia Cup game, like Ben, good mate of mine and who part of the podcast, he was straight on to me. As soon as we seen Lucas, like, we were shattered when he left, like when he went on loan. I was like, really? But he's come back, and like the first thing was just like, damn, he's stacked on the muscle. Like he's a completely different player. He's not that skinny screw-on-your kid anymore. Like, he's huge.
he's got a great story,
Dominant.
Lucas. He's got a great story, which I've been told about how he got to where he is now.
Yep.
And when I heard the story, I see a really well brought up, valued person who has strong just values when he speaks to you with respect. He takes that determination onto the pitch every day. And yes, he is an impressive guy who's done very well so far. I hope he has a big season like all the players. Yeah. I'm excited to help him get to. I see a determination to do something, and I think he went away with the Olyroos. I think that was good for him as well.
Yep.
I think it just made him look and go, you know what, I can go another level here, and he's seen how the other half do it, and he's been away with the national team. I think going to Wellington was a good thing for him. I think in the long run, Newcastle will get the benefit from that, and I think it was a really good opportunity for him, and I think he grabbed it with both hands.
Yeah. No, absolutely. The comments are just flooding in here, guys. If I've missed some up the top, feel free, reload them back down the bottom. They're coming in quick and fast. What do we got in here? Is there going to be a new leadership group for the new season?
I think we'll have definitely a discussion with the players. I think when we go away with that 3-day trip to Coffs, I think that's where we're heading.
Yes. Yeah,
I think that's a good opportunity to get the players to goal set, clarity on the leadership group, also waiting on the foreigner to come in. I think when he comes in, will definitely be a leader. So whether he becomes part of that, I'm pretty sure Brendan O'Neill will be heavily involved in that. Guys like Hoffy they're like a whole club. Hoffy's like a whole club captain. He's the go-to guy, I think, that I will lean on at times. Brandon, these guys that have that more experience. So, but yeah, it's interesting with even some of the younger ones. If there's any guys willing to step up, I'm seeing a couple really take a bit of initiative there, which is good.
Yep.
And I want everyone to have positive input to what we're doing as well. I think it's important that everyone's voice is heard in a positive way, and everyone's valued. I think that's respected. When we do that really well, I think it just we want people to know we got good culture.
Yep.
Good culture starts with good people, and I know we got good people, so we're already on our way for that. So that's important, and on that direction.
I've just got a quick one. Piscopo, how's he travelling? I know he's been sort of, recovering a little bit. How's he looking?
Yeah, he's Reno is the player that, if you look at Adelaide, I look at Goodwin. If you look at maybe Wanderers, they've got their main go-to guy, Barella. Sydney used to be Ninkovic or Bratton. Reno is our go-to guy. He's the guy that creative guys always are different, and they just beat differently to different drums. So my job is to get the best out of Reno, and that's exactly what we're going to try and do. Because if we get the best out of Reno, I think the team will be in a better space and perform better. So we've got to tick every box with him. But he went into that game. He put a strong, heavy load in leading up to it. Yep. But he just needs more time. He's pulled up not 100%. So we've had to again go back and restart him again and try get him right. So for me with Reno, it's going to be about getting him ready for round one. And basically, like Archie, two guys that you want available 26 games.
Yeah,
they're important players. They bring something different to the team. So you need them in the team. So we've got to get that right. So again, Reno is creative. He's got talent. We've got to maximise that. So we've got to make sure we get his body 100% right. And I think he played 13 games last year, so we have to double that. And he's an important player. So he gives us a bit of flexibility on how we do things as well. But creative players, you need those creative players. They excite the fans. I think the fans get excited when he's on song. So, got to find a way to make sure he's in the right frame of mind the whole time so he can perform.
Yeah,
physically.
Absolutely, yeah. Be good to see a bit more out of him this season. Plenty more in here. What do we got? Yourself, mate. Are you still in Sydney, or have you moved?
No, no, I'm moved to Newcastle, so
Yeah, beautiful. So close.
I've settled in. I try get down to see my kids, my wife. Try once a week, unless I get hurled up or something pops up.
Yep.
So it's I've been able to do that. I've been down 3 times, so
Yep.
it's been good to just quickly catch up
Yeah.
with them and see him. My daughter's birthday last week, so that was good. But no, it's okay. I'm lucky. My wife and kids are really supportive. I speak to them daily, so
Yep.
my kids are at that age. It's an important age. They're in high school.
Yeah.
To bring them up would be disruptive, but my wife will revisit that at the end of the year and think what's best. But at the moment, I have to focus fully on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel I'd be distracted if they were here. I'd be worried about them. Are they settling? So at the moment, I just want to focus fully on this. It means that I'm going to work really long hours and hard for the year. But if I do that really well, I might get benefit later on from it. Where things are just in place well. So I wasn't coming here to just half do the job. So I know I have to do it like this.
Yeah.
And just like get up, go to work, get up, go back to sleep, go back to work. So it's been a bit like that. I haven't really explored the waterfront or anything at the moment. I will, but I've been hidden away. So hopefully that'll change.
Talking about getting into it and concentrating fully, we've seen Pappas wanting the coast round 1. He was pushing for that, and that's what he wanted. The season fixtures can't be too far from being released. Have you opted for a preferred game up front, or are you just happy to just take what you get?
Yeah, I think the club was they were trying to get a game like that first up. I think they were aiming for it, but I'm not sure we will get that. So for whatever reason, we're not probably going to get what we want. So there is a game that's been put in place. I'm okay with it. It's a good challenging game. Personally, from a personal note, it's irrelevant. This game's probably good because it'll be out of the way first up. So there's some benefits of doing this game if this game happens. So they were hoping for a derby first up, get a good crowd in and things like that. So again, whether we get that or not, it's sort of out of our hands. So we've put in for what we want, but whether we get it, again, I don't know at this stage. But the quicker we know the draw, the quicker I can really start to plan everything. So until you get that draw, you're in the cup or you're out of the cup, it's really hard to plan. And everything I like to do is periodised and plan. Starts with plan, periodised after that. So until I fully get it, it's bugging me a little bit, but I can't do nothing about it. I've just got to plan as far ahead as what I know, which is probably up till the second Sydney game. So that's been okay. So
Well, we've just heard that Sir Paul McCartney's coming back to Newcastle to play, mate. So he's gonna sort of friggin' stuff up our fixtures again, most likely.
Well, they'll get on the pitch, or the motocross, I think, likes to get on there.
Mate,
so it kind of causes a bit of havoc. But look, everyone's got to fill stadiums for whatever reason today, and it generates income. So I understand. It just means the pitch can be, could play up on the pitch as well. So it is what it is. We will make do with whatever we're presented and not use it as an excuse. That's for sure.
What about Demir? As I haven't heard anything about him. Anything there, or
he's actually him and I are living together, so he's look. Demir's a great young coach. He has worked under Tony Popovic very early on. Took him under his wing. He worked under Ante Milicic at MacArthur. He played for me when I first started. I've kept in contact, mentored him a bit. Ante Milicic mentored him. Sort of, he's done a lot of work with him. I've done a lot of work. So when the role come up, he coached his own first team. He's done a lot of years with younger players as well. Lots of experience for a young guy. a good choice because we're on the same page. So that means when I hit the ground running. Connected really well with the players, so they can see how we work together. So huge benefit for me. Important to bring him in. Enthusiastic, hardworking, well educated. Travelled the world to go find best practices. Had lots of work with younger players. Knows a lot of the young talent like myself. Has been involved with the younger ones as well.
Yep.
So knows where the best talent is. So and coached his own team, first team as well. But yeah, he was a good candidate, and I think one that you'll see with individuals improving.
Absolutely. Yes, Benno, yep. I'll try and hit him up and see if they want. I'll take him to Julian's Cafe, the Cafe Cafe. Get a brekkie into him. So you see the sights of Julian's Cafe if you can't see the waterfront. I think the biggest one for me is formation. I think Ben and I like to talk about, we're very much that type of watcher. As I said, I was talking before about the coaching. I love to watch formations, and I sort of look at those sort of things more than what's the strikers are doing and everything else. The guys, I find the players that you don't really see doing a lot, or what people don't think they're doing a lot, are doing the most. They're in the right positions, they're getting the most out of the other players and so forth. But what's the sort of formation? Do you have sort of a set formation that you like to sit with, or you don't mind rotating it when needed?
No, I actually picked a formation that I think suited this playing group. Yep. So basically, the principles of the way I play won't change. They will never change. The formation is to suit the playing group. So when I looked at this team and I analysed what I saw, where issues were, didn't score enough goals, and we conceded too many goals last year. So which is a common thing. Basic. That's just a basic stat. So then I looked at chances created and the players that we have, and how do we utilise the players. And I looked at why were we conceding goals, and how can we solve that problem. So the formation I've chosen that I think is going to work well is flexible to represent a different look with one movement, one action, one rotation. But also it allows us to stay connected at all times, which means without the ball. It also enables us with those one movements, one rotations to give us a different look very, very quickly. Fullbacks are probably very important in the role where they adjust between lines. So, and that where their positions are gives us the width. And then the depth comes from obviously the centre backs and the nines. So I've coached this formation before, and again, what I've found with this group, I can be even a bit more flexible with some of the areas that can change it again. I've noticed as well. So mainly I just felt that a little bit open last year from what I've seen, but there was a lot of really good things as well from what they did with this playing group as well. So I saw some areas that I like. So I've tried to incorporate the best actions that they did as a group.
Yep.
I've considered individuals, how you bring the best out of them. So if you say you want to develop Archie more and more, then if you isolate him on his own, maybe he's not ready for that. So maybe if you play two together and you share that load, he'll develop quicker and the pressure will be less, and we'll see more of him. So then how do you create width? So then I had to solve that solution. How do you create different options to be able to play possession through lines? But also, how do you create the opportunity to be able to counter quickly as well, or counter the opponent well? So I took all that into consideration. And again, what the things they did last year through one rotation can bring that to life as well. So there's a familiarity with what they already have under belt. So Arthur brought a lot of good things into it. I wanted to capitalise on the good things. I solved some of the problems that he may have had or whatever, and help bring the players together to get the maximum out of the players. So that was my thinking. There was a lot of good things from last year as well that I found.
Oh, absolutely. So, absolutely.
There wasn't...
the season started really well.
Sometimes things can, obviously, I think there were some key players missing that made it really hard for Arthur to get what he wanted. So Piscopo missed out a lot of games. Brandon was injured a few times. There was a couple other issues I've heard with a couple other players, personal issues. So that they all come into play. So those things can just throw you out. And if you look at last year, the competition, there wasn't much between 6-7 teams.
Yeah.
So there was still a lot of good things. Like I saw a lot of positives. So I just wanted to change it a little bit to try and see if I could improve it. So time will tell.
Absolutely. Sir James has put in here, how have you managed Archie this pre-season? You've touched on it a fair bit there. Is he training full? Is he training pretty much every session?
So he was going pretty good. He come back. He was looking good. He had a little setback with some back spasms. We sent him back to the specialist. They've sort of said let's change his program, go a bit more conservative. So we're going to go pull it back a bit, just to be a bit more safe with him. I sort of listened to what the specialist said. So he's just come out of training a little bit. We've pulled him back. He had, like I said, some back spasms because he had a bit of back surgery. So that was just saying that maybe we need to pull back a bit because those who know Archie, and from what I've seen so far, Archie, there's either 0 or there's 100%.
Yep.
There's no 90% effort. There is 0. He's either standing still or he's going flat chat. So he's 100% committed kid. So sometimes he'll just go and go hard no matter what. He's just got that mentality. So he's probably gone a little bit too hard to start with, and he's got a few back spasms. Yep. So we're a little bit concerned. So we just sort of went, okay, what do we need to do? Pull back a bit, alter his training. Unfortunately, I don't think he'll play in the cup. So in the next cup one. So I'm disappointed because he was very good. But at the same time, if I look at the big picture, if I've got him for round 1, I'm going to be happy.
Yeah, yeah.
If I don't have him in round 1, I'm going to be disappointed. The fans are going to be disappointed. So if that means altering what we do now for next month or 6 weeks, and that's what I'm going to do because, I'm disappointed. I think the fans will be disappointed he won't be available. But again, we've just got to manage him.
Out of your hands, this one.
He's only 18. He's been involved for 3 years.
Yeah.
From when I remember him when he was 16, he's just changed a lot. So it means body's growing. He's got all these development still in his body, his own body. So
absolutely.
I think we can't forget that he's only 18.
Yeah.
I'm actually blown away. I actually thought he was 20, 21. Yeah. And he goes, I'm 18. I go, what? You're 18. It means you were 16 when you scored. And he goes, yeah, I was 16. So I was like, wow. Okay, that means I've got to be smart. So I just want to make him well. So
I think
he's. I can see why the fans are excited.
Yeah, look, again, I think from a fan's point of view as well, like guys, you got to look at Kanarowski. Kanarowski is prime example of this. He was in the same boat, 16 years of age, friggin' playing week in, week out, and you look at him now, you know what I mean? Like he's had to retire or he's vanished.
And we don't want that. Yeah.
And that's him, you don't want that. And he was still his prime, He was still at
even my mum's hammering me. Where's Archie? What's happened with Archie? And my mum. He goes, Archie, this. I go, relax. She goes, he's got 2 brothers, I said, well, he's up. I know he's got 2 brothers doing well.
The young ones.
You're right, and I agree. I just I just want to make sure that we see more of him. And that'll be dictated by what he can handle. So
and that's right. And that's it. And I've said this on many a podcast last season and that. And I said, at the end of the day, guys, we're disappointed. If we're disappointed, how disappointed do you think he is? He's going to be shattered.
That's the thing too,
right?
Because he
all he wants to do is perform for you.
Now, he doesn't run away from expectation.
Yeah.
He's like the expectation. He's like he embraces that. You can see he embraces it. So
absolutely.
There's no fear in him, which is unbelievable for a kid so young. Then again, sometimes they just, because there's no fear, they just keep going. And then I just got to make sure whether we educate him on, or we change the way he trains a bit, just try and find the right balance. Whether that's for me, you want to see him at least 20, 30 minutes in a game at the very least if you can, because I think that, you saw him 45 minutes, he made a big difference then, when he come on. And I had that gut feeling he was going to do that. So, if he can start games and go play longer, even better. But again, we just got to listen to his body and
Matty, I think I'm just going to quickly touch on that one just because Matt's just put in here, personally think Ben Kenarowski was a little bit overrated as a player. That's prime example of him being played so young. Everything was expected of him. He was just...
If I remember rightly, I remember Bayern Munich might have been a club that mentioned him. And if I remember, the words Bayern Munich come to mind. So, that means that he had something. And again, I'm pretty sure the words were there. So, for them to be looking at him, he had something. So, again, these things happen.
And that's the thing. It was just so much expectation, and he was playing injured a lot of the time. He was so versatile. He could play anywhere. He could play in the midfield. They played him in the back line during games. You know what I mean? Like he'd start in the midfield, and then there'd be an injury. He'd go backwards. So definitely not overrated, Matty. I just think the expectations were just ridiculous on him, and unfortunately his body gave out. That's just pretty much what it is. Shame. Absolutely. Massive.
And this happens in football.
And that's it, there's so many of them. You look at Kaz Patafta now, talent.
Yeah.
Unbelievable talent. And, here he is, CEO of Brisbane Roar. Good on him. Good luck to him.
2006, he was at the World Cup as one of the 4 players that travelled.
Absolutely.
I think he was one. Mark Milligan might have been another one.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? We don't want that to happen to Archie. You don't want to see him at 23 years of age and completely done. Like, his body's just
I think the fans would be quite disappointed. And the kid himself, I think it'd be, wouldn't be good. So, look, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that the fans get to see the maximum of him, that he's in the best health, first and foremost.
Absolutely.
Because he's such a good kid to have around there. So
we're gonna start to wrap it up, guys. So if there's any quick ones in there, fire them through. We've seen the training kit get released the other day, mate. Have you seen anything on the new kits? If so, how are they looking?
Mate, they're good. The gear's good. The new kit, I'm happy with the training kit that I'm wearing. So it's comfortable. Zeke is great, mate. Him and Frank run all the room there. They have the kit ready. They do a great job, mate. Fantastic guys. So they run their part of the operations really well. So I have kit every morning. I'm happy. So it's nice. It looks good. I think they're doing a great job with that. We got our FA Cup kit. Different, so everyone's sort of okay with that as well, I feel. So it's a big thing, the kit. I think people look forward to
it's massive.
The kit and that. So if you get it right, the fans are happy. So it's important that it's good. So I can say it's comfortable. I don't mind it. It's black, it's simple, which, I mean, at Sydney last year we had all these patterns. I was like, I couldn't believe we had to wear it. So it's just nice and well balanced from a coaching point of view. So I'm very happy from that point of view.
Absolutely. Put it this way, guys, it's going to be gold for the home kit and probably dark blue for the away. So that's pretty much whatever's on top of that, whether it be stripes or circles.
It's like reinventing the wheel. It's hard to get it. You've got to keep changing. So I'm sure there's been some really top kits out there over the years, some of the favourites.
No, I guarantee you, no matter whatever the gold is this year, the fans are going to take it home. They're going to take it back to the 2008 Grand Final winning strip, and they're going to go, that's not the same gold. Try again. Yeah. It happens every year. It happens every year.
The strip's been good. The strip's been good.
Oh, massive one. Here we go. This is a good one. Who's put this one? Noopy. Noopy's whacked this one in. We've seen you rock sort of the tracky look up the top end. Suits or trackies on the sideline, mate? What's your preference?
Look, I to be honest, I did enjoy wearing a tracksuit.
Yeah, I bet.
People ask me this. I went a bit casual in Darwin. I thought, you know what, I want something smart, something casual. It's a tough one. I want to be myself. At the same time, I don't want to dress up too much or underdress and not do the right thing by the club. So it might be a casual suit on home games. It might be something a bit less casual away, depending on where we travel. I'll have a chat with the CEO because maybe they want me to present a certain way. I'm comfortable either way. I want to be comfortable on the side, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't want people to look at me and go, you know what?
Yeah.
He's dickhead. He doesn't look right. So if they go, he looks okay, he looks fine, we can connect with him. We understand him. He's not trying to be something he's not. If I get that right, maybe that's the way to go. I don't know. I might play with it a little bit. And if people give me feedback and they don't like it, then maybe I'll set something up that everyone's sort of okay. Most of the times I just want to hide behind my cap and just focus on what I'm doing. So I can't do that now. When I was assistant, I used to do that. Yeah. And but I realise you can't do that as a head coach. So you just got to embrace it. Hopefully I'll get that balance right and won't look like an idiot, hopefully.
I've spoken to a few A-League coaches in my time, mate, and plenty love the hat. Love the hat ideas. Like I can just sort of pull that. I can just sort of pull that down while everyone's on top of me. The cameras are on me, and just have me chat and bugger off. I don't want to.
So look, I felt comfortable the other day, first time. So we'll see. I might keep changing. Nothing too Larry. No dollar suits or anything like that. In the day, I remember one or two wearing some fancy. That's not me, so...
we're expecting a 35, 40 degree day and just rock out in the boardies, mate. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're after. So it's all... runners.
You just got to adapt to the conditions. So, there'll be days like that where you think, geez, I don't want to be wearing this suit today. Or I used to look at Steve and go, man, I don't know you're wearing that suit. It's killing me watching you in that suit. So, I don't know. I'll see. No. Interesting thing. Smart casual, maybe. I'll do justice.
Couple of quick ones in here, mate. Any of the boys got a nickname for you yet?
No, there might be some names later on being called a few things that I won't appreciate. But look, Lucas always calls me boss in the morning. I look at it and go, why are you calling me boss? He goes, because you're boss. I go, okay. I let him call me boss. He says that. I try to, Rob, before a lot of people just used to call me Stano, so it's not a big thing with me. But if the players, what they're comfortable with, I'm comfortable with. Yeah. I just want to, it's just, it's not that important. But
surely Jenko's dropped the frigging gaff, surely.
I think he has used gaff a little bit as well. So what they're comfortable with, I'm okay with. So I just I pick up on what each player is comfortable with. So it's some people want it a certain way, but I'm a bit different. Do things a bit different.
Yeah, absolutely. What else have we got in here, guys? We're gonna really wrap it up. What else? There was one I've seen. Yeah, we touched on the keepers. Obviously Ryan has come in from Western. Struggle to get game time there. I've spoken to a lot of people about it. You look at it, two guys that played Vic and PL together against each other. Other, not together. Two great keepers. Two completely different keepers, in my opinion. Two different styles. What have you thought on the two guys? We Noah as well, obviously, struggling to get game time, obviously, the poor kid, but a talent, like a talent. He's just sucking all the knowledge, Mate,
you need two keepers, good keepers. I've got a good feeling with them. They're going to push each other, so it's going to be a tough decision at times. I think you want to give them, when they get their chance, you want to be fair to them both. Next game, both of them will get some game time. I did cross my mind to throw Mick in if we went to penalties in the cup.
Yeah.
I ran out of that chance. I was thinking that. I just had this. My gut was telling me that was Mick, and then in the end, Ryan made the saves as well. So I just had that feeling that they both bring something different. They're both a little bit different keepers.
Yeah.
Both have impressed me. So I want to make sure that pick the best one. But at the same time, they want to push each other, because if they've got, what I find, if keepers have this really good attitude, they'll push each other, they'll bring the best out of each other, and the decision's going to be really tough. And in the end, I remember Andrew Redmayne, Vulca. Andrew Redmayne played second fiddle, but they fed off each other. Then Andrew Redmayne become this beast as the keeper. And so you just don't know what's going to happen, really. But I'm excited by both of them. They both have been very impressive, and Noah as well. I've been watching Noah in the NPL, so he's got. All three of them bring something different in their quality. They'll have something. They're all really good at something in their game.
Yep.
So they're going to push each other to develop other areas.
Yep.
It's a bit exciting. So there's some talent there. I think we're lucky to have what we've got. I think we've got some good depth.
Yep.
And I think the environment they create is gonna be really important. Bolo's got a big job on his hands as well, I think. So
yeah,
I think he's very excited what he's doing at the moment as well. I can see it in his enthusiasm. So he's got a big challenge to improve him, and I see myself having a headache.
Yeah, well, what I seen from him the other week, Bolo putting him through the paces, just like a little game sort of thing against each other.
Yeah.
The throwing and the kicking into the goals and so forth. Competitive. It was on. It was, they were getting around each other. If they did it, but at the same time, it was a 5 second. Yeah, good job. Now get the hell out of my way.
They're unique. The keepers' union's different to every other.
Absolutely.
They have their own union. It's good. I like it. I like how they do things. So look, they've got a really good environment happening. They're almost a separate side of the group at times, but they're important. They can make the difference between winning and qualifying finals, because if they can win you games by making saves, and that's important. So I like the vibe they're giving off. They're feeding off each other, which is really good. So it's a healthy competitive environment at the moment. So. When the games start, obviously someone's going to be disappointed, but it means the other one, whoever gets to start, they're going to have to be on their game all the time, because one of them's going to be ready to pounce. So, I'm very optimistic and positive what I'm seeing from them.
And we've seen the video. All the fans seen the video the other day. We've obviously cleared up who's leading the players in the penalty shootout. Who teaching them how to take the penalties. Bolo top bins. Obviously.
It was good, huh? My brother-in-law said to me, mate, Bolo was top bin. I go, yeah, he's not bad, huh?
Yeah. You see him on the sideline. Whoever misses the first penalty, come on, guys. It's not up.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's good. The keepers are doing well.
Absolutely, mate. Final two for me, mate, and we'll wrap it up, is just... What can we do as fans to help you and the players? Like, I suppose you can speak on behalf of the players as well. We're talking active support. We're talking just general public. Members. Obviously, getting memberships is the main one. If you haven't got a membership yet, get on it. Obviously, but yeah, what can we do to help you out, mate?
Look, I think obviously membership's important for the club. If we've got members, that's a really good thing for the club. I think I'm really conscious of how the impression that I make and actually do with the team. Yep. So if I say it's going to happen straight away, I'll be lying straight away. It could happen, but I know what I'm doing is on the right path, and you can never buy heaps of time, but I know if I tick all the boxes, what I'm doing, it's going to give us the best chance to be successful and sustainable.
Yep.
And I know people want win. Yep. And I want them to also look at the things that they want in their team and judge us on that as well. So, for instance, the team must reflect Newcastle, the environment, what the fans want as well, which I'm trying to do.
Yep.
It needs to be a team that's the teams are proud of because they're committed. They know they're going to get the effort, the commitment every week.
Yep.
So that's something we work towards every week. We don't drop standards to make sure we tick that box.
Yep.
And then I believe if we do that well and we get the identity of the team, which will take time, I think we'll see the W's come.
Yep.
Enough W's that's going to say, all right, we've got something. So the time frame on that, I can't tell anyone that. But what I do know, if we do things well,
Yep.
and in the long run, we might get exactly what everyone's happy with. Mixture of Newcastle, outsiders, foreigners, culture, identity that we're proud of, and results, and finals berth, and hopefully in the future a trophy. Something that the fans go, well, you know what? It took time, but it was worth the wait. So, again, it's I come from successful environments. I'm making sure I tick those boxes that make you successful.
Yep.
But also, I think Newcastle's unique. If you do it well, it could explode in Newcastle as well. It's one of those places that it could, it's a different environment. I think it could explode. So the effort put in to get it right is worthwhile. So that is one of the main reasons why I come here, because it's massive potential.
Yep.
We have to get that potential and make it real. So I'm working hard for that.
Absolutely, and at the end of the day, you've got a massive youth background, and if that doesn't excite any of the youth academy players and so forth, I don't know what will, because I gather you'll be getting to plenty of youth games and stuff like that. And around a couple of Australian Cup games coming up locally. Magic Friday night, Sydney 58, absolute banging game that'll be. Following week, your first chance to have a look at some. Other than obviously the Australian Cup, the first one, but Western United head up here to face Edgy. Not a bad squad. They've signed a couple of decent players as well, so might get our first chance to take a look back at was it the Port Macquarie Pele, who obviously left us last season, down there doing some good things.
He'll be interesting how he goes. Obviously he's a local boy. It would have been great to keep him.
Yeah.
Sometimes these things happen. You're out of your control.
Yep.
But you never know. He might be back one day. So
that's it.
If he comes back, you want to make sure he comes back bigger and better.
Yeah.
I would love to see him go overseas and do well. Then other young ones will say, you know what, he's gone overseas, and if he can do it, then I can set goals of doing that. So that,
correct.
For me, I would have. It's not me. But from me looking at it, I would have loved to have done that. So hopefully he does that and role models other young kids in Newcastle, because he's a good kid, good player.
Yeah.
I liked him a lot. So I'm disappointed he's not here. I'm sure the fans are. But you never know when he might one day come back. So
absolutely. Guys, look, we're going to wrap it up there. But as I touched on just before, plenty of football over the next fortnight. Get your tickets. Go support local. Magic this week, Edgy the following. And then the big one, 14th, Monday night up at Maitland against Brisbane. The Jets will be there. So get your tickets, guys. It's important, you know what I mean? Like, the ground's magic at Maitland. It's looking absolutely schmick up there. And let's fill it. The massive big screen up there now and so forth. New one. So, get your tickets in for that. Get your memberships if you guys haven't done so. And, mate, muchly appreciated for giving up your time. Hopefully, we can get you back on, maybe closer to the season, as we're getting pretty close to the seasons, to see how we're looking into round one. Obviously, won't take up this much of your time. Obviously, it'll be a lot shorter and sweeter for that one. But honestly, mate, we do appreciate you coming on, answering the fans' questions. But as I said, guys, get behind the club. Yeah, get behind it. Get your memberships done, as I've mentioned. Get into the active if you can. I know it's been pretty dismal over the last couple of seasons, but the guys in there are trying their best, and at the end of the day, they need you guys in there to help them, because if you're in there helping them, it helps the players and so forth. So be sure to do that. other than that, we'll see you guys probably next week for another episode of the Smashing Crossbar podcast. We'll probably talk Matildas, the Tillies getting through the group, happy days in the Women's World Cup, big numbers, and so forth around Australia and New Zealand at the moment. 45,000 plus at games and everything else. It's great to see. So, other than that, guys, take it easy. Thanks, everyone, for your questions and jumping in. And if you haven't liked the Facebook page or the YouTube channel and so forth, please do so. Muchly appreciated. And until next time, as always, we hate Coast Scum. Take it easy, guys. See yous.